Good evening. Welcome to our Wednesday night edition of the Vent NightCap. I'm so excited to see everyone, to see your names pop up, to be able to have time with you as we wind down for the night. So for some of you, you may be preparing to go to bed. For some of you, you may be preparing for tomorrow. You may be cooking or you may be relaxing because you've been moving around all day. But tonight serves as time for all of us to just take a breather, to unwind, and have some time together to decompress. So welcome in, whether you're joining us from Instagram, whether you're on Facebook, or you are on YouTube. We are so glad that you are with us. If you're joining in with other people, hey everybody, good evening, good night. Welcome in. If you are off for the rest of the week, we just want you to come in, get some tools so that you're able to relax, so that you're able to unwind. And you're not just able to do that intermittently, but you're able to do that on a daily basis. So I'm just happy that y'all are here, that we get to share space and time, and that we get to figure out how we figure out this relaxing thing as a community and not trying to just figure it out on our own. Hey, Mom. My mom is in here. Hey, Mom. I'm glad that you're on. She's on Facebook. Wherever you're joining us from, good evening. Welcome in. Tonight, our focus is about rest as an ongoing thing. So for some of us, self-care is when I go on vacation. For some of us, self-care is something that you do, after you've completed tasks. Our challenge, our goal, our push tonight is that rest becomes part of your routine. So the same way you have a routine with work, it's the same way you have a routine with your children, whether it be children that you teach, that you mentor, that are biologically yours, and that you help take care of and you have influence over, or people in general. Our goal is that not only do you have a routine, your daily routine, your facial routine, your nighttime routine, but your rest is now part of that routine as well. We want you to be very intentional about taking care of you. And that is not selfish, right? That is not something that you should feel guilty about. That is something that you have a right, and I would say a divine right to have, because you are human. You need time to rest. You need time to replenish. You need time to refresh. And you need time to just clear your brain so that you're able to be the best you that you can be. Not for other people all the time, but simply so you can thrive mentally, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. We want you to thrive and not just be going through the monotony of the day to day. So tonight we want to really look at rest is the routine. So rest is routine. It's not every now and then. It's not when I get time. It's not on this day, but it is part of my everyday routine, whether it's a quick 5 minutes, 2 minutes, whether it is in the nighttime, in the afternoon, in the morning, whether it is a breather in the car, whether anybody sit in the car sometimes before you get in the house. And that's kind of like your mental break. You just sit in the car before you go in, whether it's one person or nobody or 10 people in the house. You just like, okay, wait, I'm gonna just sit in the car for a little bit. I'm gonna eat my fries in the car. Right, I'm gonna eat the sandwich in the car. I'm gonna just sit here and scroll in the car. I don't know how many people do that, but I know that's something I do. I've talked to a few friends and coworkers. They say they do that before they go in the house. They just sit in the car for a little bit. Me and one of my friends were on the phone the other night, and she was like, girl, I've been sitting in the car for an hour talking to you. I'm about to go in the house. Right. And she lives alone, but it's just something about sometimes that time in the car that you just sit there. Hey, Cliff, I see you in on IG. But all of us have that time, whether it's in your car, in your home. We're going to talk about that too, setting a peace corner tonight as well. So first question that I want to ask as we kind of head into tonight's conversation, I just want to do a quick check-in. We do not do check-ins formally, right? Every day or every week. But I do want to quick check in, and you can respond in the comments, or you can just say it out loud to yourself, or you can take note, like a mental note for yourself. But the check-in for tonight is, what does your body need right now? And if you're watching on a replay, participate, right? Think about it. What does your body need right now? Because you cannot address things that you are not aware of or that you have not made room for. So what does your body need right now? So for some people, you may need some water, right? And it doesn't have to be anything extreme. For some people, you may need some water. For other people, you may need to relax your shoulders, your jaws. For some people, you may need some tea, or you may need some cough medicine, or you forgot to take whatever medication or routine things that you're supposed to do. Make sure you're doing that. For other people, you may need to go lay down. What does your body need? For some of us, you may need a hug, right? You may need to lift your feet up, right? You may need to elevate your feet. For others, you may want to put on a weighted blanket or heating pad. What does your body need right now? For somebody else, you may just need to cut the lights down a little bit or cut on some soft music. But take note of those things. You know what? Right now, my body needs fill in the blank. You can respond in the comments. You can respond for yourself. Again, our community is built around safe spaces. So if you don't feel comfortable sharing in the comments, completely fine. The goal is that you recognize what your body needs and you give your body what it needs. So think about that for a quick second. What does your body need right now? Do you need to close your eyes for a little bit? Right? Do you need to breathe in and out? Right? Do you need to maybe kick off your shoes or take off, and change into something more comfortable? What does your body need right now? My mom said she needs some hot tea and honey with lemon. So maybe she needs to go fix a cup of tea. I got my tea right here. Right. Shout out to Kristen. My daughter made my tea tonight for me. But take note of that. And I said, I was like, you know what? I need some tea. I need something warm to drink. And I was like, Chris, can you please make me some tea? She made me some tea. Hey, Carl. Calls in on IG. But take a note of what you need, and not just in this moment, but throughout your day. Pause and ask yourself, what does my body need right now? Because not only does it affect you physically, it also affects you mentally and emotionally. So first, as we look in rest as part of our routine, how do we incorporate rest as part of our daily routine? Well, we have 3 quick things tonight. Again, right, these nightcaps are quick check-ins. The first thing, we want to recognize that rest is a daily commitment, not a one-time fix. So for many of us, we talked about self-care, we talked about rest, we talked about relaxation. And often we think that rest is something that you do, like, oh, if I go to sleep tonight early, I'll be good. But you want to start incorporating things into your daily routine. Okay, I'm at least 3 nights a week. I want to try to be in bed by 8 p.m., by 9 p.m., by 10 p.m., however that works for you. If you work the night shift, I need to be sleep by 2 p.m. so I can get up at 9 p.m. so I can be ready for work or be at work before 11 p.m., right? I don't know what your work schedules are, but working around that time of what time or what do I need to incorporate into my daily life? Not just a one time, oh, well, I can't wait until, it's November now. I can't wait until March because that's when my vacation is. That is great, right? But that's not something that we can't vacation daily. It would be nice. And in our head, maybe some of us vacation daily. But what we want to do is start incorporating things that you can do. So one of those things that you can do, or some of those things that you can do, is in between tasks, take 2 to 5 minutes to transition. So I've gotten one task done, right? I've sent out the emails. Now I need to make some phone calls. So in between my email time and my phone time, I'm going to take 2 to 5 minutes to take a quick walk. I'm going to take 2 to 5 minutes to listen to my favorite song. I'm going to take 2 to 5 minutes to do some deep breathing exercises. I'm going to take 2 to 5 minutes to stretch out my body. I'm going to take 2 to 5 minutes to sit in silence. I'm going to take 2 to 5 minutes to watch a funny video. I'm going to take 2 to 5 minutes to sit quietly. Why? Because it helps me transition to the next thing, right? Because we all know if you just keep going, it's eventually going to lead to some form of burnout or some form of being overwhelmed. So be intentional about making rest a daily commitment. And again, we talk about these micro rests. It's these simple, short 2 to 5 minute things that you can do in between tasks or throughout your day that I'm going to take a 2-hour block. And then 2 hours is a little, I'm going to be honest, that's a long time, but I'm going to take a 2-hour block. I'm going to take a 1-hour block. Then I'm going to take 5 to 10 minutes and I'm going to break and I'm going to do this. I'm going to journal. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to go get fresh air. I'm going to get sunlight. I'm going to call somebody that I know is going to make me laugh. Another thing you can do is commit to something that you do as a transition. So for different people, that may look different. So again, depending on where you work, what type of environment you're in, where you are geographically, this can look different. One thing that you could do, wash your hands. Simple, right? It sounds simple, but water has this thing where it's like cleansing, right? So I do a task or I do something and then I go wash my hands and it kind of wash away what was there before. So now I have almost like a clean slate. It's that mind-body connection where I wash my hands, now I have a clean slate and I'm ready to go to the next thing, right? Another thing may be changing your environment. So instead of sitting and on the couch, I'm going to move to a different chair. Instead of sitting in the chair, I'm going to sit at the desk. Instead of sitting at a chair that's on a low position, I'm sitting in a high top position. Instead of sitting near the window, I'm going to move to the balcony. I'm going to go sit outside at the picnic table. So changing environment also is a refresher, right? And again, these are things that are low to no cost where you can make this a daily commitment. Instead of doing work, instead of having lunch at my desk where it's a work zone, I'm gonna go sit in the break area, or I'm gonna go sit in the lounge, or I'm gonna sit in my car. I'm gonna actually have lunch off campus. Again, depends on where you work and what your restrictions may be. I'm going to sit with a coworker that I get along well with, and we're gonna have lunch together. A change in environment really does shift us mentally. Again, it's that mind-body connection. If I'm in a new environment, I start noticing a refresher that can serve as a refresher for us all. You may play music. You may tidy up your space. So if you got papers everywhere, again, physical and the mental, we're so connected, right? If you got papers everywhere, tidy up the papers, put things away. And not only does that make you able to focus better, but it's also like you've completed a task, right? So I straighten up these papers, I've completed a task. So it also gives us this rush because we have this sense of we've completed something, we've accomplished something. So now we can move on to the next thing, right? Any of you, and again, if you have anything additionally to add to that, please drop it in the comments, because if it works for you, it may also work for someone else, or it may spark something in someone else for them to do something similar, right? So rest is a daily commitment, not a one-time fix, not I'm going on vacation in 3 weeks, not, I got something planned next quarter, not I'm going to the spa next week. It is, what can I incorporate very quickly into my day-to-day life so that I'm having these micro rest moments and I'm giving myself a brain break, I'm giving myself a physical break, and I'm giving myself, honestly, an emotional break so I'm not exhausted at the end of the day. The next part of that is this quote from, again, Annette Bishop, Trisha Hersey, and she says, rest is a portal to imagination, creation, and power. So what does that say to me? I'm going to tell y'all what it says to me. I want to hear what it says to you if you would like to chime in as well. What that says to me is rest is something, you ever tried to think of ideas or come up with things and you're exhausted? It's like you have a brain fog. But when you're well rested and you have energy, you feel so imaginative and so creative, and you feel like you can just do anything, right? So rest often gives us that space where we can be creative and not just be stuck in a box of going through the status quo. Right. The second thing, rest is essential. It is essential. Y'all remember during the pandemic, it was like essential personnel only. Rest is essential. It's something that we need. It is a necessity. It is something that we need. It's not optional. It's not like, well, I'll rest in 3 months. No, go to bed. Right. I'll rest, next quarter. No, you need to be sleeping. You need to be taking breaks. Why? Because your body literally needs you to rest. Dr. Ebony Marshall Turman, amazing preacher, scholar, professor at Yale Divinity, says, when we are rested, we are better equipped to dream and to do. So rest actually empowers you and equips you and allows you to be able to dream, to imagine, and not only to dream and imagine and plan, but also to do those things, right? You can't you can't stay up all night and not condition yourself and then say, I'm gonna run a 25-mile race. No, you can get tired. You're not gonna be able to complete the task. Why? Because your body and your mind were not conditioned or rested well enough to do it. So when you rest, you're able to do things you never thought that you could do. What does that look like for us as we look at that practically? It means that we've said this before, right? Saying no, right? Saying no to things that overextend you. So you have to have a boundary. So we talked about saying no to things that pull from you and saying yes to things that feed you. But we also, in addition to that, have to learn how to say no to things that overextend you. If you know you already have 10 things on your to-do list and somebody comes and try to add 5, 10, 20 more things, you have the right and the option to say, no, I'm not going to be able to do that. Or I will not be able to do that right now, right? Because what we are working towards is not just saying, oh, yeah, I can do that. Just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should do it. And it doesn't mean that you should do it right now, right? There's a difference between I can do it and I should do it right now. Yeah, you could get it done, but at what expense? So rest is essential. I'm gonna rest, and I'll revisit it on Monday. This is a short week because it's a holiday week, so I'm gonna do everything that I can do Monday and Tuesday, or Monday, or whatever days of the week you work this week. But whatever else didn't get accomplished, or whatever else people are trying to add to me when they call me at noon on Wednesday, and they know that tomorrow's Thanksgiving, we'll revisit it on Monday, right? And that's a boundary for me. That also involves breaking larger tasks into smaller tasks. So if I want to save $50,000, I may not be able to save $50,000 tomorrow, but what I can start doing is every day putting away $10, putting away $5, dropping. If I get extra money or a bonus, I drop that into my savings account. So eventually, a year, 6 months, 2 years, whatever your goal is, you set smart goals, right? You are saving $50,000, but you're not overwhelming yourself by trying to save $50,000 in 12 hours or in 1 month, but you're breaking it into smaller tasks. Okay, if I save, $2,000, if I save $500 a month, if I save 20 X amount of time to complete this task, if I save this amount of money, I'll get to $50,000 by this day, right? So you want to break large goals into smaller goals. And then the next thing that we also want to look at, and this is our last thing, is intentional rest creates room for renewal. Intentional rest creates room for renewal. And we're not talking about intentional, again, we're not just talking about rest on vacation or rest when you go get your massage or rest when you have a day off. We're talking about intentional rest throughout your day, right? And part of that means, and I'm going to read this quote from Maya Angelou, you alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anybody. So when we go back to this room for renewal, it means that you are enough. So producing more and going and doing the most and overextending yourself, like you want to move in excellence, you want to do the things and you want to get it done and you want to check the boxes and you do it so well. But overextending yourself can cause you harm, not just long term, but short term, right? Because you're not resting, you're not taking care of your body, you're not doing things that are essential to your soul, your spirit, your mind, your body, your emotions. So now you're overextending yourself. So how do we renew ourselves? We renew ourselves by understanding, you know what? If I just got out of the bed today and I showed up and I gave it my best, no matter what my best looked like today, I am still enough, right? I didn't feel great today. I showed up. That is enough. I gave it my very best. That is enough. Not overextending to the point where you are running and running and running and running and running on fumes. You cannot afford to run on fumes. Your body cannot afford to run on fumes. Your mind cannot afford to run on fumes. Your spirit cannot afford to have you out here running on fumes. You have to take intentional rest so that you're able to renew your mind, your body, your spirit, and your soul, so that you're not waiting for the next retreat or the next vacation or the next day off to say, then I'll replenish myself. Find ways that you're able to replenish yourself throughout the day. What does that look like? Finding a peaceful space. So if that's your car during your work day, if that's you got to go to the restroom and just take a breather there, if that's going to get a bottle of water and walking around the campus, if that is taking 5 minutes of mindfulness and saying, you know what, I'm going to drink tea. I'm going to call, my favorite person. I'm going to look at some pictures from an amazing moment or amazing time that I had. I'm going to reflect on a vacation that I did have. What does intentional rest look like for you? And then incorporate that. So I have some people may have, like they have a closet that they cleaned out and that's their space that they go to. Some people may have a place at work where I go. Somebody may sit by the water or sit by a fountain or, just find a quiet space where no one else is. Some people may go into the restroom. Some people may go out in the parking lot. Some people may, whatever that is for you, incorporate that into your day. You know what? At 10 o'clock, I'm going to go here and have my 5 minutes of intentional rest, right? Because rest isn't just sleep. It's actually having time to yourself. So remember that you alone are enough. And here's really quick our tools that we want you to take with you. One, in the morning. So before you even start your day, pause. Before you grab your phone, before you start scrolling on IG, before you text or call anybody, spend a moment just enjoying the quiet, right? Stretch, read scripture or sacred text, read something positive to get you going, affirmation, and then set your intentions for the day. Today, I'm going to complete this. Today, I'm going to take steps towards this, and actually do that and have that in your mind, because once you start moving, your mind's already telling you this is what we're doing today. Other tool to take with you, you can use a warm washcloth, and this is, I think, good at the beginning or the end of the day. You can either use a warm washcloth or a cold washcloth, and the warm will serve as a face steam, so you warm up as warm as you can take it, right, without hurting your skin. Put the face, I'm doing it. I'm closing my eyes like I'm putting a real bath cloth on my face. Put a washcloth on your face and just take some deep breaths, right? And it calms you. The warm calms you. Or I like cold. So I put a cold, especially with sinuses, I put a cold washcloth on my forehead, over my face, under my eyes. And it has a calming effect, and it kind of opens up my senses for the day. You can do that for 30 minutes, but just take the time. You can sit in your bathroom, on the edge of your bed, on your couch, on your chair, and take that time to take care of you. It's not anything, again, we're not talking about anything expensive or lavish. We're talking about the luxury of taking care of you without having to spend a lot of money. And lastly, let's say this. Rest is not lazy. Now you said rest is not lazy. Rest is powerful. Rest is powerful. And we're going to say this together. I reclaim my time. I reclaim my time. Remember that rest is not lazy because it's a necessity. Rest is powerful because it replenishes and refreshes you. And you reclaim your time that you put out by pouring back into you. So I hope you guys have an amazing night. I hope that this nightcap served as something that you can take with you, and those tools are something that you'll implement throughout your day. And I will see you again tomorrow night. It was so good to be with you here tonight. I will see you again tomorrow night. I had such a great time with you all. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And for those celebrating, have an amazing Thursday and amazing Thanksgiving.